Andy Gibb's rise to fame was fast and intense. By the age of 19, he had become an international pop sensation. With the release of his debut single, I Just Want to Be Your Everything, in 1977, written by his brother Barry Gibb of the Bee Gees, he immediately topped the charts. In the following 2 years, he released 2 more #1 hits, Love Is, Thicker Than Water, and Shadow Dancing. At one point, Andy Gibb was the youngest solo artist to have 3 consecutive singles hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. His albums sold millions, his face was plastered across magazines, and he was invited to perform and host on major U.S. television networks. But while his music career skyrocketed, his personal life was deteriorating in silence. Andy's sudden death in 1988 shocked fans, but for those who knew his personal struggles, it didn't come without warning. The truth behind his passing lies not in one singular event, but in a series of patterns, decisions, pressures, and personal demons that built over years. From the start of his career, Andy struggled with the weight of expectations. As the younger brother of the globally successful Bee Gees, he benefited from their industry connections, but he also lived in their shadow. The rapid success, without the years of grounding experience that his brothers had endured, left Andy without the personal tools to manage the demands of fame. By the late 1970s, Andy began using cocaine. The substance became a regular part of his lifestyle and quickly started to interfere with his career. He missed concerts and interviews, became difficult to manage, and developed a reputation for unreliability. His drug use was no longer hidden, and industry insiders began pulling away. In 1980, RSO Records dropped him. The same year, his relationship with actress Victoria Principal ended, an emotional blow that sent Andy into a deeper depression. He admitted in interviews later that he had never fully recovered from that breakup. Over the next several years, Andy entered and exited various rehabilitation programs. His family, particularly Barry and his other brothers, tried repeatedly to support him. He attempted several comebacks, including stints on stage in musical theater, guest appearances on TV, and efforts to record new music. None gained significant traction. While he expressed hope in interviews and told journalists that he was clean and ready to return to music, those closest to him remained concerned about his physical and mental health. In early 1988, Andy was living in Oxford, England, where he had begun recording new material for what he hoped would be his comeback album. He was said to be sober and focused. Just days after his 30th birthday, however, he was admitted to the hospital with chest pains. On March 10, 1988, Andy Gibb died. The official cause, myocarditis, inflammation of the heart muscle, likely brought on by years of substance abuse and prolonged stress on his system. No drugs or alcohol were found in his system at the time of death, but his body had already suffered irreversible damage. What made his death so tragic was the perception that it had come just as he was beginning to recover. Yet the damage had been accumulating for years. According to medical experts, myocarditis can be triggered by a number of factors, but long-term cocaine abuse is known to put significant strain on the cardiovascular system, even after a person stops using. The illness can go undetected until it suddenly becomes fatal. Andy Gibb's story is often summarized as one of missed potential, but that understates the reality. He was one of the most successful solo artists of his time, yet his personal struggles overtook his public achievements. His early death highlighted the dangers of unchecked fame, emotional instability, and substance dependence. Behind the bright spotlight was a young man overwhelmed by the expectations placed on him and unequipped to cope with them. The truth behind Andy Gibb's sudden death is not just about medical causes. It's about the fragility of a career built too quickly, the cost of living in the shadow of a legendary family, and the long-term consequences of personal pain left unresolved. Andy Gibb died young, but the warning signs had been visible long before his final days.